Saint Catherine of Siena, one of the most courageous figures in the Catholic Church, was not only a devout prayerful servant of the poor, but also wrote faithful letters to Pope Gregory XI, disproving the notion that women of her time could not influence major decisions. In this video, learn how her life of faith, courage, and wisdom inspires us to be agents of change in our own communities, showing that our actions, guided by love, can have a lasting impact. Chapter 1: The Birth of a Star in Siena. Imagine the sun-drenched Italian city of Siena. It's March 25, 1347, and the cry of a baby breaks the silence. Catherine, the 25th child in a large family, has just arrived. It's as if the universe knew something extraordinary was about to begin. Chapter 2: A Special Heart is Revealed. From her first steps, Catalina displayed a unique connection with God. While others entertained themselves with everyday games, she found inexplicable joy in prayer and helping others. It's as if she had a secret superpower, the ability to see beyond the visible. One day, when she was barely 6 years old, Catherine had an experience that would change her life forever. While walking with her brother, she suddenly saw something that took her breath away. She thought she saw Jesus smiling down at her from heaven. From that moment on, Catherine knew her life would have an extraordinary purpose. Chapter 3: The Girl Who Talked to God. For Catalina, talking to God was as natural as breathing. She would close her eyes and immerse herself in deep conversations, sharing her joys, fears, and dreams. It's like having a direct line to the universe. Imagine the possibilities. As she grew older, her connection to the spiritual world grew stronger. At the age of 7, she made a decision that would astound many: to dedicate her entire life to God. It's as if Catherine had discovered the secret of life and was determined to share it with the world. Chapter 4: Catalina, the Brave. Catherine's life was not a bed of roses. She faced misunderstanding and resistance, even from her own family. Many didn't understand why a young woman would choose a life of prayer rather than following social conventions. But Catherine, with unwavering determination, stood firm in her convictions. This bravery teaches us a powerful lesson: following our hearts requires courage, especially when we're swimming against the current. Catalina shows us that this difference can be our greatest strength. Imagine the impact we could have if, like her, we dared to be authentically ourselves. Chapter 5: The Tireless Helper. As Catherine grew older, her desire to help others became a life mission. She dedicated herself to caring for the sick, sharing food with the hungry, and comforting the grieving. It's as if Catherine was a beacon of hope in an often dark world. Her actions challenge us to ask ourselves, what can we do today to improve someone else's life? Perhaps it's a gesture as simple as a sincere smile or as courageous as standing up for someone who was being treated unfairly. Catherine teaches us that every act of kindness, no matter how small, has the power to transform the world. Chapter 6: Deeply Convincing Letters. Catherine, with unprecedented audacity, wrote numerous letters to Pope Gregory XI, urging him to return to Rome from Avignon. Her words, full of love and firmness, resonated in the pontiff's heart. "I say to you, sweet Christ on earth, from Christ in heaven." Thus she always began her letters, in which she demanded from Gregory XI the greatest sacrifice he could ever ask of him: to return to Rome.
The motive behind these letters was clear: Catherine firmly believed that the Pope's place was in Rome, not in the exile of Avignon. She saw this situation as a wound in the body of the Church that needed healing. Her words, inspired by a deep spiritual connection, were instrumental in convincing the Pope to return to the Eternal City, thus changing the course of Church history.
Chapter 7: Catherine's Powerful Pen. Catherine didn't just act, she also wrote. Her letters, full of wisdom and compassion, reached kings, popes, and common people alike. It's as if each letter were a seed of change planted in the reader's soul. This aspect of her life challenges us to consider the power of our own words. Catherine teaches us that words, when born of love and conviction, can be as powerful as any action. Chapter 8: The Eternal Legacy of a Short Life. Although Catherine lived only 33 years, her impact on the world was monumental. She was declared a saint by Pope Pius II in 1461 and a Doctor of the Church in 1970 by Pope Paul VI, a title reserved for those whose teachings are considered of exceptional value. Her legacy poses a crucial question: how do we want to be remembered? Catherine shows us that it's not the length of our life that matters, but the intensity with which we live it and the love for Jesus Christ we share with others. Chapter 9: Catherine's Deep Spiritual Life. Catherine's spiritual life was extraordinarily rich. She spent hours in prayer, often experiencing ecstasies and mystical visions. Her connection with God was so intense that she is said to have received the stigmata, the wounds of Christ, though invisible to others. Catherine practiced rigorous fasting and mortification, not out of masochism, but as a way of uniting herself more intimately with Christ's suffering. Her spirituality was centered on love, love of God and love of neighbor. For her, these two loves were inseparable. Chapter 10: Catherine's Great Teachings for Our Daily Life. Saint Catherine of Siena left us many valuable lessons. She taught us that courage and faith can move mountains, that love and compassion are more powerful than any negative force, and that our words have the power to change the world. These lessons are as relevant today as they were in her time. They challenge us to live with integrity, to be courageous in our faith, and to use our words and actions to do good. Catherine shows us that each of us has the potential to be an agent of change in our world. Chapter 11: You Can Be Like Catalina. Want to know a secret? We can all be a little like Catherine. The easiest and most powerful way to imitate Saint Catherine is to grow in a deep personal love for Jesus Christ. It is essential to know Him deeply in order to love Him more and be able to share Him with others. Catherine teaches us that this love is cultivated through constant prayer, selfless service, and the courage to stand up for the truth. When we strive to know and love Jesus as Catherine did, our lives are transformed, and through us, we can transform the world around us. Chapter 12: Catherine's Living Legacy. Imagine the impact we could have if each of us lived with the same passion and love as Catalina. A world where kindness, courage, and faith were as natural as breathing. Wouldn't that be extraordinary? The challenge is on: how can we, in our daily lives, embody the virtues that made Catherine such an inspirational figure? The adventure begins now. Are you ready to change the world, one act of love at a time? And so, dear families, our adventure with Saint Catherine of Siena ends. But remember, the real adventure is just beginning. Every day we can choose to be like Catherine, brave, loving, and Jesus' best friends. Did you enjoy Catherine's story? And if so, I think you'll love learning about the life of Blessed Imelda Lambertini, since it was God Himself who wanted Imelda to make her first communion at the most important moment of her life. See you next time.